Good morning. Good morning. If you're here, say hello. Today's video is all about communication. I actually want to communicate with you guys. Question or not question of the day. Daily devotion. That's what it is. Today I am devoted to healing. Today I am devoted to healing myself and evolving with others through the process of communication. Today I am devoted to healing myself and evolving with others through the process of communication. That's what today's video is all about. So, question of the day. Adjusting. Let me know if you can hear me. Question of the day. Have you ever found yourself talking to someone or arguing with someone, and at the end of that discussion, you feel like you didn't get anything accomplished? Let me know in the comments. Tell me if this happens all the time to you. Tell me if you've experienced this once or twice. Let me know. Have you ever found yourself talking to someone, arguing, debating, and at the end of the conversation, you feel like you got nothing accomplished? The reason why that question is so important, I feel like everyone's going to say yes, some version of yes. Hello to everyone who's here. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. But I'm just going to assume that everybody watching this is going to say yes to that, some variation of yes. And the reason why you're going to say yes is because we all do it. We all struggle with communication, just on different levels. I honestly, personally believe that you improve with your communication by learning. And learning comes through experience. Experience is the mother of all learning. And so you also improve your communication by actually intentionally improving your communication. And so in my daily devotion today, like for those of you who may not have joined me in past videos, I am doing a daily devotion with Iyanla Vanzant. I really need to learn how to say her name, honestly. But she's the one, Iyanla Fixed My Life. She's that one. And I've been doing this daily devotion, and it's just interesting, right on time, that today her devotion is all about communication, because I'm going to tell you guys a little story. An edited story from a communication, I guess, quarrel or, I don't know, discussion that my husband and we had last night. And so it really required me to intentionally apply some of the lessons I've learned about effective communication. And I went to bed thinking about it, and I woke up this morning praying, literally praying to God that he can help me and my husband to get through to one another better, and to improve in the areas that we have a little bit of dysfunction in. And so I just thought it was really interesting that after I did that prayer and we had that discussion, then I come to this portion of the devotion. But basically, we have different philosophies and opinions about the way that we spend money and the way that we spend our time. We have a lot of things that we come together on that, you know, obviously we're married. So we agree on a lot more than we disagree on. But when we do have these disagreements, they really get on my nerves, because I just feel like we're going over the same stuff over and over. I'm saying the same stuff over and over. And I honestly don't feel like he hears me all the time, or like that I know that he hears me. My daughter's down here eating, y'all. I know that he hears me. I just don't really I feel like we've come to a place where he's kind of made up his mind that he's just not going to do certain things, despite the fact that he knows that I want them. And I don't think he does that because he doesn't value me. I think it's because in his mind, he thinks that he knows what's best. And maybe down the line, I'm going to realize it, you know? So yesterday we had a few, you know, interactions about some financial things that we're thinking about investing in, and some just personal stuff. And through these interactions, even at the end, like what kind of like ticked it all off is at the end of the night we were having like a genuine, just good, free-flowing conversation about something, and I started to get into detail about like my point of view. It was like real estate or something like that, and I was like giving him some history on like my history in real estate. I'm not a realtor or anything, but I did study to get my license at one point, and you know, so anyway, we were discussing that. And he had asked me a question. Good afternoon. Hey, Talana. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I just took the twist out. Talana says, good afternoon, hair looks great. So it's afternoon for you. That means you're East Coast, right? Let me know. Hey, Jay. Thank you for saying hi, y'all. So anyway, we're having this discussion, and then like I'm giving him history because I'm trying to answer his question. He had asked me, what did he ask me? Look, communication wasn't listening. He had asked me, oh, did everything like in 2007, 2008, did it just like rapidly plummet? Like did home values go from being like in the high 600,000s, like where we're at in Southern California, to just immediately being worth like 300,000? Did everything just get slashed? Like, did it happen rapidly or was it gradual? And I was telling him like, I feel like it happened rapidly, and here's why. Because I was, you know, I was studying for my license, and I was just going into detail telling him like, you know, why, from my perspective, it seemed that it happened rapidly. Before I could even finish, he's just like, you do realize that you're going down memory lane, right? I just wanted to know the answer to the question. And it really irritated me because I'm like, we ain't like on a time limit right now. Like, why do I have to rush just to tell you the answer? And why aren't you interested in other random details about me? Like, even if I am going down memory lane, like, so it really just bothered me. But because I'm working on my communication, I just was like, oh, I just totally like tried to hide it, even though I probably shouldn't have hit it. That's not effective communication, honesty is. But I tried to hide it, and I, you know, just proceeded to tell him like, oh, okay, well, you know, listening to him and hearing what he wants, okay, well, here's the answer to your question. And the reason why I was kind of going down memory lane is just because I thought the context would kind of help you understand my perspective. But whatever. I proceeded to finish cleaning up, and we had just eaten dinner, and I was gonna go and like take a bath and do all kind of stuff because I wanted to try to set the mood. But then I just got irritated, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go to bed. Good night. He felt it. So he came into the room, and he's like talking to me, and that irritated me more because it's like, no, don't come and try to be playful and talk to me and listen to me now that you know I'm upset. You know, like, you need to listen to me when I'm in the middle of talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyways, so he comes in there and he's asking me what's wrong. Of course, I'm saying nothing. And then he just like, you know, continues to ask until I open up and I, you know, we have that discussion. And in that discussion, some truths were revealed, some things that I had been like really bothered by about him. But I told him, I'm like, the reason why I didn't feel the need to tell you these things all day when they were irritating me is because I feel like I've told you before, and you just don't really, you must not care. And so then he took that opportunity to dispel that false truth in my mind. And so we had that discussion. So I wanted to give you guys this example because, you know, when you're in a relationship, you go through this all the time. You spend a lot of time talking, and everyone tells you communication is the key to a successful relationship. I just want to like reinforce that. It's so true. I titled this video, Why? Thank you for your feedback. I'm going to go and read these comments in a minute. I titled this video, Why You're Not Getting Through to Him or Her. Good afternoon, Brenda McKnight. And the reason why I titled it that is because I learned yesterday that actually what I did was more effective than what I have done in the past. My husband tends to get on my nerves sometimes, straight up, as much as I love him. So what I tend to do, because I grew up a certain way, just talking, speaking my mind, and that's what I tend to do. So if we're in the middle of a situation that I disagree on, I will say some harsh things, not even realizing they're harsh. I'll be like, don't you think that's kind of dumb? Like, you're just like your idea for whatever you want to purchase, invest in, or whatever. I might say something like that, or I just might be like very over aggressive or just like overbearing with the way that I give information, and that's just not effective for him. He like checks out, you know, like we'll be in a conversation and he's just like, all right, I don't even want to talk about it no more. And I'm just like, don't like shut it down. Don't not talk just because you disagree with me. Why don't you tell me the error of my ways? Why don't you tell me like I'm talking too loud or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, but he just checks out. You're right, Juicy, that is men. It does get on my nerves. Because women, we're so talkative, and we explain every aspect of our thought process. And I've learned with my husband, and with seems like a lot of men, it's like they don't want to go there with us all the time and go into all these details, because it's probably going to make them so mad that they're going to have to leave the house before they, you know what I'm saying, like really lose it. And, you know, they also, they're very straight to the point. They're like, it's not that they don't care about us and about the details. It's just that when they're in the moment of getting information or talking about something, they just want to get straight to the point. If you ever sat and just listened to men talk, sat and listened to women talk, it's two completely different conversations, okay? And it's really important for us, exactly, it's really important for us as human beings to learn how to effectively communicate with one another. So communication is the process of sending and receiving, not just sending, not just receiving either. Sometimes I find myself trying to be an effective communicator and being like, you know what, I'm just not even going to speak my mind. I'm just going to listen. And I'll do some real good listening. But effective communication is sending and receiving, and finding a way to effectively do that. And that's why it's so much work in a relationship, because it takes years sometimes to figure that out. So why you're not getting through to him or her is probably because you're so focused on getting your own point across, and you're not taking the time to really listen to how effectively it's landing in their ears. And so I feel like I got through to my husband last night, even though I know I could have imparted some better communication tactics. The fact that I waited instead of just going off of him, or like, I don't know, dismissing his ideas, criticizing him, or even sometimes I'll try to take the other route. I'm not going to directly criticize you, but then I'm being like passive aggressive. Like, I didn't do none of that yesterday. I genuinely was like, you know what, I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear why he's so interested in doing this, even though it doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to try to open my mind to being okay with it, to considering it. And yes, things were irritating me throughout the day, but that was really my effort. And because I did that, then I didn't disrespect him all day. So then at the end of the night, he came to me asking what's wrong. Now, had I done the other thing, had I just been volunteering my information or my opinion when he didn't ask, or had I been volunteering my criticism, he probably would have shut down and wouldn't have really been interested in why I decided to go to bed. But because he was interested, I was able to then effectively communicate to him, well, here's what's been bothering me and here's why. And I can tell it was effective because it didn't really end beautifully. Like, I mean, it ended respectfully. We both respected one another in closing the conversation. But one of the things that this devotion is talking about, and I'm going to go read you guys' comments in a minute. One of the things it said in this devotion is like honest, open, heartfelt communication. Well, let me go to. It says, being clear about expectations others may have for you. In the process, you gain clarity about judgments and decisions you've made, the fears by which you are challenged, the changes you may need to make, forgiveness you may need to make for yourself, and that you may need to offer. Open, honest communication allows you to get perceptions and predispositions in check. It's sharing your truth, learning the truth, and experiencing the impact of truth. Experiencing the impact of truth is what I had last night. I so wanted to kind of take back some of the stuff I said. Even though I didn't say it disrespectfully, it was honest. I kind of wanted to take it back because I can tell that it was disappointing information for him to hear. For him to hear that I haven't felt like he's been listening to me, that I don't feel like he cares, or certain things like that. That was disappointing to him because he does care and he does love me. He just hasn't found the most effective way of communicating that to me. And I wanted to take it back, but I thought about it. That would be dishonest. Effective communication, you know, like they said, is experiencing the impact of truth. When you're effectively, yes, I have a baby, Kalina, hey. She was nursing just now. She usually wakes up really early. And then by about 9 o'clock, she goes back to sleep. And that's why I set this for 9 a.m. But anyway, I want to encourage everybody to go, if you're in a relationship, go and search for the 5 love languages on Google. It's going to help you to, and we can have a different conversation about that on a different video, but it's one of the, I think, starting points for effective communication in a relationship, because it helps you to understand how you and the other person hear things, how you receive things, the things that are most important to you. You have to start with a baseline of even caring, first of all, about what the other person may be thinking or feeling, and then begin to unwrap that, begin to peel off those layers and understand how this person listens, how this person receives information. And if you care that much, then you'll adjust the way that you send your communication, so on and so forth. And so that, if you're not doing that right now, you're not peeling back those layers, that's probably the reason why you're not really being heard or effective. And one thing that I will say as a disclaimer, when you choose to marry somebody or be in a relationship, at least according to my philosophy, this is what you choose to do. You choose to adjust yourself to compromise in order to gain a common ground, or come to a common ground, in order to effectively coexist with one another. And so a lot of people are like, well, I don't need to change for that person and they're not changing for me. Honey, sometimes you have to be the one to just decide, I'm going to change first. And you will see that through that compromise and through that willingness to adapt to that person, that eventually they come around. You know, you can never control what someone else does. You can only pray, you can hope, and you can do your best to encourage their behavior, but you can't control what they do. You can't control what you do. You know, and if you're unfortunately in a relationship where the communication is horrible and you're the only one making effort, continue to make that effort. That's all I can say. I'm not going to tell you leave, stay, whatever. That's a whole different conversation, but continue to make that effort. And what I have found in my personal experience with friendships, relatives, and my marriage is that whenever I put myself second for a minute, whenever I just consider that person, things usually tend to turn around. Sometimes it takes me having to discipline myself to listen to them and what I consider nonsense, listen to their nonsense time and time again before eventually they start to feel like I care enough for them to compromise for me. Another quote that I'll leave you with is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you can know what's best for someone all day long, but if that person doesn't feel like you care about what they think, they don't feel like you care about their opinions, their preferences or whatever, then you may have all the best information in the world. They're not going to care. They're not going to hear you. They're not going to receive it. You ever notice how people will listen to people that are horrible for them? You're like, why are you taking advice from this person? They're going to lead you. They're going to take you right into the gutter with them. They're going to lead you into darkness. Why would you listen to them? Because somehow that person has made the person you're speaking to feel like they care about them. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to read some of y'all comments. Respond, effective communication. My task today, like I said at the beginning of the video, I am devoted to healing myself and evolving with others through the process of communication. And it actually says today, just for today, set the intention to communicate each time you open your mouth. So if you guys are doing this with me, set your intention on communicating each time you open your mouth. And that means not just speaking at people, but sending and receiving effectively. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to look and see what y'all talking about and respond. All right. Thank you for joining me today. By the way, if you guys want to see future videos, then subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so you'll be notified. My goal is to do this every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you guys are still with me, let me know below if 9 a.m. works for you, if it's a horrible time, and if I reach a general consensus amongst majority of my viewers, then I can adjust the time. This time so far works best for me. So, Juicy Kiki said, I'm like in the same situation with my man. His communication is poor. He makes promises and don't keep them. I say he don't want me to leave him. But not showing me the little things I'm looking for. Kiki, I'm so sorry to hear that, girl. I know so many women in that situation. Man, it seems like it's just so hard to get these men to listen to us. But honestly, what I would recommend you do is go back to the basics. When you get an opportunity to get him, get him in a time where you feel like he's somewhat listening, just ask him, be like, I feel like our relationship has changed a little bit. And I'm just curious on your part. Do you feel like it's changed? And if so, what do you feel like has changed? Because you guys, when you guys got together in the beginning, I'm sure you had better communication. Something he did made you feel like he cared about you. I'm sure the same thing with you. So maybe revisit the beginning and find out, because a lot of times you'll find that things change along the way that people didn't talk about. And when you start addressing those things, a lot of times you can find the root cause to some things, and maybe that'll help with the beginning of improving your communication. But threatening him to leave him, girl, that ain't gonna work, unfortunately, even though it's probably a legitimate threat. Let me know what you think about that. Talana, oh, you were responding to Kiki saying absolutely. Peace and good afternoon to you too, Brenda. I know I responded already. Jade, yes, even though I ain't in no communication. No, Jade, you are. we are in constant communication with the world, with everyone around us. So improving your communication now. Before I got in this relationship, I had already, thank God, learned some very good communication tactics, because I had taken like a class in school, and I started to like really apply some of the stuff I was learning in this class, because I'm really into like people and relationships, you know. And I found that a lot of it really helped me in my relationship, but I did have to relearn a lot of it as well. Thank you, Jade, for the compliment. I appreciate it. Juicy Kiki, yes, that's how I am. I talk a lot. I go into details with how I feel about things. Yes, that's how women are. Thank you, Kalina. Jade, I don't want to listen to men talking because they run their mouths and they only like people who look pretty and not particularly what their personalities are. Well, you know what I would say, Jade? You are definitely entitled to your opinion, but a lot of times having those predispositions and having opinions like that can sometimes prevent us from being effective communicators, because you're already assuming that, you know, you're assuming for them. And even though you're probably right, a lot of men you've experienced probably are like that, I guarantee that's not true for every man. And until you give everybody the opportunity to show their truth to you, then you may be shutting out some people that will surprise you, that will positively surprise you, you know. Liz Turner, good afternoon. This is just a word for me. I need to communicate better. I'm glad that you are enjoying this, Liz. Kiki, yes, that's how I think. Men focus on everything else except me. Peeling back the layers, y'all. I will say that. I can't stress that enough. There's layers to this communication thing. A lot of times, some of the things that we assume and presume about people come from our own insecurities. And that's why I recommend everybody get a daily devotion. Get something that requires you to dig into yourself a little bit every day and peel back those layers. The better that you learn to understand yourself, the better you're going to understand other people. I promise you. If you think that men just focus on everything else except you, I guarantee that's not the truth, but you'll always see it as the truth as long as you believe it. You got to change your beliefs, but you won't be able to change your beliefs till you learn more about yourself. Find out what happened to you in your past that caused you to think that. Because I guarantee if you tell that to every man, you're going to receive some backlash. You're going to receive some disagreement. Some men are going to be like, why would you say that? No, but no matter what they do, they're always going to prove that to you because you already believe it. That we can save that for another conversation too. Brenda McKnight, truth be told, a lot of grown people have childhood issues that haven't been dealt with properly. You're on point. I meditate every day with the same book. See, Brenda, that's exactly what I'm saying. One of the books I'm reading right now, okay, mama, it's talking about and requiring me to dig into my childhood issues, and it's helping me with my communication with my husband, so I definitely agree. Juicy Kiki, I like having this type of communication. I do too. Jade, I didn't quite see her baby, but I know she's really cute. Thank you. My astrology sign, I'm an Aries. Can't change what you don't acknowledge. I'm going to go and respond to some of these later on. I just want to see if there's anything I need to respond to before closing the video. Yes, starting off, it was amazing. He asked to be with me, but I think he only wanted to be with me to make promises and play mind games. He keeps telling me he don't want me to leave him. So there's so much to say about that, Kiki. I appreciate you opening up about it. We're going to cover something like that in another video, okay? But I'm going to pray for all of you who are here with me. Thank you for joining me today on this communication talk. Leave all of your comments after I close this video. Go to the actual comments and leave some of these comments, like just copy and paste them if you can. That way other people can see them and we can actually continue this conversation in the comments, all right? But remember, if you are joining me in my efforts to be a better communicator, then just for today, set an intention to communicate each time you open your ears, your mouth and your ears. Be devoted to healing yourself and evolving with others through the process of communication. I am going to put this right here in the camera. That way, if you're able to zoom in and see any of it, then maybe you can screenshot it and you can read it for today. Take it in. And see what it does for you, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell so you can be notified when I go live. Let me know in the comments below if 9 a.m. is a good time for you, because it's a good time for me. And anything else you want to tell me, let me know, because I am devoted to communicating today. This is the Daily Devotion by Iyanla Banzat. I don't know how to say her last name, but I'm going to learn. God bless you. See you tomorrow.